Live from South Florida and North Carolina, it's Mean and Sober. And now, they both signed up for President Trump's Space Force, but only one of them will be getting high today. It's your hosts, Ethan Moore and John Gregory. Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Ethan. Women are on the ropes right now.
The ropes of jism, John? What are you...
Disgusting, Ethan.
That's what you said to me before the mic's heated up. I thought...
Well, I didn't like the way you were heating the mic up with your mouth, first of all.
I'll heat it up anyway. I damn well please, John. And by the way, that wasn't my mouth.
Good gracious, Ethan.
It's just a certain shape, you know. By the way, you're the first comedian to think of doing a microphone dick joke. Congratulations.
The
first white comedian, John. No. Anyway, John. So, okay. Wow. I thought we were going to talk about treason, but you want to jump right into the thought audit, into the culture wars?
I mean, let's be honest. With stuff that's happening in government now, that's just background noise. The true culture war is taking place on social media.
I disagree. If you mean Putin's attempt to influence the campaign through Facebook, I agree, though.
Yes, Ethan, of course.
Is that what you meant, John?
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Putin wanted the blue wave that washed over Washington, D.C.
40 seats, John. My God. It actually makes the seats that Obama lost in 2010 look like nothing.
Hey, do you remember how everyone was saying that this was the most important election of our lifetimes? And now that it's over, everyone's still talking about it because it's the most important election of our lifetimes?
Well... They should be talking about what a shellacking Trump received in the midterms. I haven't heard that narrative very much, and it seems to be true.
Instead, no one's talking about anything because this election didn't matter at all, and nothing's going to happen.
Oh, a lot will happen, John.
Yeah, we might actually get some, legal reform, which would be nice.
Criminal justice reform, yeah, we're going to talk about that today. Of course, the Democrats have subpoena power in Congress. That's going to make a big difference.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, no. Hey, well, Michael Cohen, Trump crony, is in trouble this week for lying to Congress. Do you want to talk about that? Or do you
Sure.
Or do you want to jump into thought audit?
Well, Ethan, I think we should just go ahead and get this thought audit out of the way. It's best not to keep the IRS waiting,
All right. Explain thought audit, John.
Okay. So, as our listeners know, we live in a world that is being destroyed by degenerate women.
That's wrong. Incorrect.
And some brave souls have taken it upon themselves to weaponize the IRS, a move straight out of the Obama playbook.
That is actually true. Well, John, let's back up. Now, first of all, what is a quote-unquote thought?
A thought is African American English vernacular for that hoe over there.
Yes,
so
right.
A thought is basically the new way to call a woman a hoe or a whore or something like that. It's just like hoe has fallen out of favor, so thought is the preferred term for millennials and Generation Z types.
See, I'm so relieved. I when I heard the word thought audit, I assumed it was some sort of UK style, listening.
Orwellian.
Yes, like they're going to be listening to my thoughts and checking on them, and thought crime, that sort of thing. But no.
They're gonna strap you to a polygraph test and then show you a picture of a Muslim terrorist beheading someone and be like, does this make you feel racist? Answer honestly.
And I'm like, why is there an electrode in my ass?
Well, sir, you asked for that. We don't typically do that.
Wow, the British police are so accommodating. Thank you, Mr. Bobby, sir.
But no, Ethan, luckily it's not some horrible British Orwellian thought crime thing. It's a good thing, Ethan.
Okay, it's a good thing. Now, so what is the thought audit?
Okay, so basically what's happening is young men on the internet are reporting girls' premium Snapchats to the IRS.
Because the girls are not getting, they're not reporting that their income that they're getting as sex workers.
Well, there's a good chance
I think the preferred term is cam whore. Is that?
Yeah, I call them cam whores too. My Victoria was getting mad at me for that because I kept saying cam whore. She's like, can't you say like cam girl or something? And I'm like, no, but that doesn't really capture the whorish part of it,
right.
You know?
And also I think they're all like on a site called camwhores.com. So I mean, you know. Okay.
You can be a cam girl, and you know it's still not a respectable way to make a living. But
by the way, I certainly don't like Victoria slut shaming whores either. You know,
well,
I thought she gave them a little more agency. Wow.
Well, she does. I think it was the way I was saying it.
You're like these filthy, disgusting whores of cam.
But I mean, like, you can be a cam girl, be like one of those Twitch streamers who plays video games poorly with their cleavage showing. Oh yeah, you know,
yeah. And you can make booby streamer or whatever they call it.
Yeah, you can make plenty of money doing that, and that's a more honest way to, I feel like, to exploit lonely men online
while evading taxes.
Well, Ethan, the reason that this whole thing fucking started is because sex workers online definitely consider, and like, you know, these cam whores, these e-girls, they definitely consider incels to be like their mortal enemy. You know, like
really?
These are the.
I thought that they're like their key customers.
No. Pay piggies are their key. Well, here's the thing. Someone who calls himself an incel is usually extremely right-wing, like far right.
Oh, really?
You know? Yes. So there are people.
So they're gay. No.
Well, no, they're misogynists.
Oh, so they're gay. They're just they're only jacking off to traps.
Right, exactly.
Is that true, really?
That's the reactionary way to, you know, you're like, men go their own way. Now we don't need women anymore. We got these traps who are, I have to dress up like a trap. Oh, okay. I guess that's the price to pay. But
it's like men going their own way. What are we going to do with all these stiff boners all over the place? Because we'll have to get together and go our own way.
And all these unfucked assholes.
I mean, come on.
But no, these cam whores, you know, they get money and adulation from lonely men online all day. And then you'll have these incels who are like, stop paying for these women, stop paying for like the degeneracy of modern woman, you know?
Oh, so they're Nazis.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, yeah,
there's
definitely overlap there for sure.
Right.
But
right. These white maidens.
Well, I really have seen some reactionaries, you know, sharing like a Medium piece in defense of the Thought Audit, saying that, well, part of the reason they're doing it is because subconsciously they know that these women, these virtueless women, are a threat to the tribe. And so that this, you know, like strengthens the tribe by punishing women for potentially weakening and exposing the tribe.
For the ones who actually are white nationalists, that makes sense. Although you have to figure that 99% of them are just like, no, they should be. You know what? These women, they should not be so loose with their sex. Their sex should be distributed equally among all of us, right? Like that's.
Well, yeah, it's a running gag among incels. It's like, you know, state. When is the government going to give me a girlfriend?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, like Professor Jordan Peterson says.
Exactly.
And that taken out of context quote. Right.
Where he's saying this is a good thing. The government should force women to be raped by incels. Yeah.
But I still stand for free speech. Just not by women. Okay.
But this actually didn't start with a white nationalist. It started with David Wu, who
Echo.
No, who's by the way, if you couldn't tell, isn't white, you know, and
Oh, so he's one of those Asian Nazis. Ah, you've told me a lot about them.
He's not a Nazi, Ethan, but I would still hold him to the far right. He's actually one of the moderators, if not the creator, of the Facebook group called Ancapistan, which is one of the largest Facebook groups for anarcho-capitalists to
wait a minute.
to bang out stuff.
Hang on. So this guy, David Wu, you're telling me he came up with this scheme to start
the thought audit.
Start reporting these cam girls out of, I don't know, they're mad basically that they won't get fucked.
No. It's like those were justifications given later for the thought audit when it started to go viral. His justification for the thought audit, which I found just funny because it's true, just like trolling, because it's not at all really ideologically driven.
Okay, go ahead.
It's because there's all these cam whores. They say stuff like sex work is real work. You know, there's this huge debate over whether or not sex work is like a respectable way to earn a living.
Well, wait. It's definitely real work. Respectable is maybe harder to defend, but
okay, but like the question is then, because I agree that being a prostitute is real work for sure. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But selling nudes for money or having a premium Snapchat, while it is sex work, it is not prostitution, and it is definitely a lot less fucking work.
It's less work. Well, yeah, but it's still work.
Well, John. I mean, it's like, but there's still like this view that it's like, well, you're just selling your soul. You're just selling, parts of yourself online so that you don't have to get a job.
Oh, that's not work?
Well, I'm just saying. So the point is.
Oh, so if it uses up your soul, it's not work. I feel like the devil might have a different thing to say about that, John.
Well, I'm not coming down on a side here, Ethan. I'm just laying the groundwork for this online article.
Okay.
But
So he's saying that they keep claiming this is real work.
Yes, sex workers are saying sex work is real work, and it's time you incels, learn that. And incel just being used basically as an insult against any man who criticizes them or trolls them,
Right.
And so David Wu said, oh, sex work is real work? Then you probably have to pay taxes on it, bitch. And so he started reporting these premium Snapchats to the IRS, and it caught on. And everyone started doing it.
And I saw, like, you sent me a tweet where this one cam whore was basically like, who just reported me to the IRS? I'm being audited.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is very funny.
It is funny. That's the whole problem with this thing, Ethan, is it's very funny.
It's very funny. However, you said that David Wu is the administrator of Ancapistan. Like,
yes.
John, I mean, I don't know. You've been talking a lot about, anarcho-capitalism ever since we started this podcast a couple years ago. But I don't remember the part where you said that in Ancapistan, in the perfect anarcho-capitalist paradise, the IRS would be the first place you would go in order to solve your problems.
Well, it's not, Ethan. But
so this isn't part of that weird Austrian economics school that was like 2 pages stuck together that you didn't tell me about before?
Maybe you haven't realized this, but we don't live in Ancapistan, Ethan. We live in the real world. And in the real world, you have to be pragmatic and use the state against your enemies.
Oh, okay. So just anything is fine. That's great. All right.
Like Steve Bannon said, politics is war.
Right. No, John.
As long as this loaded gun called the state is sitting on the table, Ethan, I'm going to grab it with both hands.
This is the opposite of everything you've always said. Do you realize that? Does David Wu realize that too?
Ethan, I contain multitudes, okay?
Oh, okay. So now you're the one who's possessed by the devil. You're a legion.
No, but no. See, and here's the thing. I agree with you. This is bad. The thought audit is bad. Like, using the IRS is bad. Reporting people to the IRS is bad. And I was thinking, like,
John Gregory, liberal cuck, white knight, come to rescue the fair maidens.
I have been called both those things on the internet for being like, guys, the thought audit's bad, and they're just like. And they're just like, now's no time for one of your principled libertarian stands. And I'm like, I don't understand why it isn't.
Don't we both subscribe to this group about principled libertarian stands? Like, aren't we in the same club?
There really is a group.
No, John, it's too funny. John, it's too funny though.
Oh, what? You're gonna spoil the joke with your ethics and principles?
So you actually went to the mat and were, like, in your groups, and were basically like, you guys, this is bullshit. You can't do this.
Yes, while also admitting it was funny.
Okay,
you know,
that's
like, because
good.
I'm capable of containing both thoughts. Like, it is funny. Because I read this, because God, some of the screenshots, Ethan, are so fucking funny. Like, I saw this one saying, like, wow, thanks to whoever reported me to the IRS, my parents found out that I do sex work and they're kicking me out of the house. Now that I had to close down my premium Snapchat, I'm not going to have any place to live. And I'm like, that's hilarious.
Well, there are some websites where she could still probably get some,
Are you kidding? All she's gonna have to do is ask one of those people if she can, like, one of the people who buys her nudes and, like, sends her money on PayPal, and just be like, hey, can I stay in your room while you sleep on the couch and don't have sex with me? You know?
Oh wow, that's totally what already happened.
You know that's happening to people.
Oh my God, I know, I agree. It's like, yeah, I'm glad that you emphasized that it's still funny. Like, that's how I feel about Trump. I'm like I like democracy, and I am 100% sure that Donald J. Trump being president is terrible for American democracy. On the other hand, it's so goddamn funny that it's almost worth it.
I think it's more than worth it. Also, I love his policies.
Also, John Gregory, you're lying right now, right?
Yes, but
okay.
Here's the thing with, like, because you're saying, doesn't this go against, like, libertarian principles, and
as if there are such things,
there are libertarian principles,
okay.
I'll have you know, but there is a subsection. Actually, it's a fairly large subsection of people who call themselves anarcho-capitalists who, like, mentally and socially and aesthetically are fascists. But it's just, they're like, well, just economically, fascism doesn't work. Anarcho-capitalism's better. But I still think I can assert my traditional social Darwinist policies through anarcho-capitalism.
Yeah, this is like you showed me that bizarre alt-right Murdoch show once.
Yeah.
And you were like, this one guy's a libertarian. And I'm like, what? Like,
yeah.
How can you be a libertarian and be a Nazi at the same time? Those don't match.
Yeah, I know. It is this.
He's like, culturally, I love Hitler, but
right. Right, I know.
But economically, it's that is weird, because then you end up making a coalition with the actual Nazis, and then they end up doing statism, and then your principles all get compromised, and you just go along for the ride. I don't get that.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. That's exactly.
So functionally, you should kick them out of your group because they're functionally Nazis.
Well, I can't really do that. David Wu is the fucking moderator, Ethan.
Oh, no, I mean out of the movement, John.
Oh.
You're out of the movement.
The movement only exists on Facebook, so it's going to be hard to do,
Well, John, I'm sure you'll find a way.
But it's
maybe get the IRS involved.
Here's a couple more points on this thing, though, because what you're talking about, like making a coalition with the authoritarian right wing, and the problems that may come of that. That is my big fear of this. And that is specifically why I tell these people, like, hey, you can be a laissez-faire anti-Semite. Just don't join up with the fucking Nazis,
You're like, look at me, John Gregory. I have a bust of Hitler right here on my desk as we're having this conversation. And yet, I would actually never endorse the policies of the Third Reich because they just wouldn't work.
Exactly. It's like, yes, I have a tuxedo made out of the Confederate flag, but I am also critical of the CSA's economic policies,
Oh, that's funny. By the way, I saw for some reason, I was watching Fox News this morning. I was actually just trolling my dad. I was like, Dad, let's watch some Fox.
That's funny.
Yeah, and they had Kid Rock. Steve Ducey was interviewing Kid Rock. Like,
amazing. Amazing.
And he was actually, it was very funny. Kid Rock was saying all these like normal things. Like he was like, I just don't like the he's like, I like President Trump, but I don't like the division in our society right now. It's just like everyone's you say the slightest thing and everyone jumps all over you for being racist or politically incorrect. I just think we need to come together as a nation, And then he goes, except for that Joy Behar. I hate that cunt. I mean, he didn't say cunt, but
he's like, I hate that kike.
It was something like that. He was like really extreme. And he was like, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. It was like, whoa. Wow. It's like he's very Trumpian,
That's
in that
funny.
way. But I was just thinking probably that's where you got the tuxedo, right? Kid Rock's
yeah, it's his signature line.
I think
But
so.
no, but what the thing about like forming an alliance with the authoritarian right is historically this just doesn't work out. Like there aren't really many examples of it happening on the right, but there are tons of examples of it happening on the left, where left libertarian socialist types, left anarchists, the anarcho-communists, syndicalists, those types, they will side with the Bolsheviks and, like the Marxist-Leninists and stuff, and they will
Right.
overthrow a government and overthrow capitalism. And then as soon as they start implementing their draconian authoritarian policies, and the libertarian left is like, actually, we don't agree with these. It's like, okay, time to die.
Right, right.
And like
They
that
just they start like executing Antifa after the revolution.
well, I mean, like Trotsky literally did do that,
Right.
like he really did. And Trotsky even killed like members of his own navy because they weren't down with one of the policies. I forget which. And so he had like 20,000 sailors killed. But it's a thing
sailors.
that's the thing with like authoritarians is like they're not gonna be like, well, you did help us get here and I'm a man of my word, so they're
Right.
just gonna fucking line you up against the wall and shoot you. But I was thinking that I actually could think of two principled libertarian reasons for why one might engage in the thought audit, Ethan.
Okay.
The first is that the IRS offers up to 30% of recovered fees if you snitch.
Oh yeah, I asked you about that. I said, "Hey," are they getting a piece of this or what? And you said, "Oh yeah, very generous, 30%." Okay.
Yeah, 30%. I mean, it's gonna be a while before David Wu sees any of that money, but hey, better investment than bonds, So
Well, he should, if he really wanted to make that his investment, he should have just not told anyone about it.
right, but he did want it to catch on.
Right.
He also wanted to own the whores on this one, Ethan.
Wow, look at this. He's just distributing those IRS rewards like a communist.
But the other principled libertarian reason as to why someone might engage in the thought audit is to distract the IRS from tax evading crypto holders. Because
I see.
you gotta know that like the guys working at the IRS, if they're like, should I go after this nerd and his internet money, or should I go over this hot bitch who reminds me of the girl who rejected me in high school?
He's like, I'll probably have to look through all her pictures to do this audit.
all her texts, all her everything, probably have to look at everything for a while. So like that would be to jam up the IRS. That is a noble reason I think one might engage in the thought audit.
The second one I can sort of agree with in a I mean, not really, but a little bit. I can't really see it actually, like as a person actually using that as a justification, but at least it's somewhat logically consistent. The first one is absolute horseshit. Like, oh yeah, sure. I'm doing it because I'm going to get 30%. Like, so what? Then you just have a price for betraying your ideals?
Ethan, making money is the number one ideal. Okay, like profit is ahead of everything. when it comes to anarcho-capitalism or right libertarianism.
I don't think that taking money from the government. No, I don't know about that, John. You're like, my goal is to eliminate the government, so I will take money from the government to make the government stronger and more effective. Wait a minute.
What are you talking about? Making it stronger and more effective?
Well,
how's that making it stronger and more effective?
Well, it means that the IRS is, auditing more people. The IRS is able to increase their stranglehold on the American taxpayer just a little bit.
Yeah, but Ethan,
and how much did you get? Well, you got $10,000 because, that whore didn't report a bunch of her. It's like, all right, but. John, come on. That's not principled. That's the principled in the same way that Judas Iscariot was principled.
Judas Iscariot was the first anarcho-capitalist.
And he hung himself, John. What does that tell you?
And he was Jewish, which proves I'm not an anti-Semite.
I feel like you're really coming down on Satan's side a lot on this podcast so far.
Well, that's just your opinion, man.
You're like Satan was actually the first anti. Okay.
I call him Samael, which was his name before he was fallen.
All right. Well, what's the status right now? Okay, so I'll tell you, I did read about this quite a bit, and I saw on the Thought Audit, first of all, it was very funny because you had you pointed out there's liberal press that's saying, no, you should have paid taxes, which I was like, really?
Right, I know, which is so fucking funny, yeah.
It's like, really? What about when Trump does it?
Yeah, like all of a sudden it's like this noble thing, hey, don't let these men get to you, sweetie. Avoid paying taxes.
Right. I'm like, okay, I agree. Let's just do that for everyone. Yeah. But then the other thing was I saw that some people were saying that this is an empty threat, and actually the IRS isn't really going to be able to audit these people.
No, they're not.
They don't have enough information to be able to audit these women.
No, they don't.
They don't?
No, they don't. It's like you need like a name and address, for the audit for your snitching audit to really go through.
Well, I'm sure these incels with nothing to do except spend all day long on the internet learning how to hack will have no idea how to dox these women with a persona where they actually have to show their face and give and receive information about themselves. No way they'll be able to figure out their real name.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I mean, so a bunch of and some women have been audited and they've had horrible consequences happen to them because of it. But the overall effect that this Thought Audit will have is not that a bunch of these cam whores are going to be audited by the IRS or are going to go to jail or have to pay back taxes. The real consequence of it is that a bunch of them are just going to lose money for a couple weeks because they had to shut down their premium Snapchats,
Right.
Like, so that's the real thing is it's just like a hit to their pockets because they all pay. Because, Ethan, it's not like cam whores understand the intricacies of the IRS and are like, actually, I'm all paid up and I know for a fact that for an audit to happen, you need my name and address. Like, no, they're like, oh, fuck, I haven't been paying taxes and I never had any intention to ever. Let me shut this down, And like the Thought Audit has brought a lot of cam whore e-thought hypocrisy like front and center because these are like the same women who are like saying that birth control should be free and that tampons and, women's products should be free and society should just pay for them and stuff. And then it's like, well, if you think it should be free, then taxes are going to have to pay for that, sweetie,
Right. Or what about your husband?
Ideally, but
maybe one of these nice incels. Oh, God. Well, it's all very funny. And obviously, John, there's a lot of hypocrisy on both sides.
Absolutely. But the point is, Ethan, like when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, these libs got owned, you know?
Are we presuming that these women are libs?
Oh no, Ethan, I'm sure they're far right, these degenerate cam whores who sell nudes of themselves. Yes, they're libs. Okay.
All the ones I follow, they're wearing nothing but a "Make America Great Again" hat, John.
Well, that's another thing that's gone around is that
And you should see the things they do with that American flagpole. Oh my God!
is that like the MAGA thoughts have not been attacked by this, you know? And some people have brought that up, you know, and being like, "Oh, you call them degenerate, but if they're wearing that stupid red fucking hat, all of a sudden, you know, they're saving the white race," you know?
Right. Oh, actually, that's funny. They should. What if the smart ones? They're not even. They're not shutting down their Snapchat. They're just putting on a different hat.
Yeah, see, Ethan, that's the thing. These MAGA thoughts, you know, they don't have premium Snapchats or anything like that. They have like PayPals and Patreons, you know?
Right.
So, and their names and addresses are out there in the open. So I'm just going to start reporting them, you know?
Well, actually, you do have to pay taxes on income from that.
You do?
Those sites, yeah. I'm going to have to pay taxes on our Patreon, John. We'll have to talk about that later.
God damn it.
Yeah, because Patreon actually, like if you make more than, I don't know, it's a very small amount, then they require you to fill out forms. Yeah, so.
Jesus.
Yeah, isn't that ridiculous? That's bullshit, right? We should be
let
able
me
to
just-
evade taxes just like these thoughts until recently.
No. I'm more than happy to pay for Israel's wars. It's fine.
Jesus Christ,
I love
John.
doing that.
I feel like we get a lot out of that relationship, John. Come on.
Like Israel is the ultimate e-thought, you know? Like
Okay.
we're sending them money all the time, like, please love us, Israel, and they're like, well, send a little more money, you know.
I think also another way that they could counter, what's the word I'm looking for, disarm this movement would be if the thoughts would start doing do you ever see
They would start going to church.
yeah, and stripping. No, okay. I haven't seen that. You know how they have the public sex videos, and I haven't seen one in church yet.
Thank God.
Business idea, ladies. All right. Anyway. What I was gonna say is, have you ever seen those pornos where they have like fuck a fan?
Oh, sure.
Right, where they get some like loser with buck teeth.
Yep.
And then they're like, he and he has like a small dick, and you're like, oh, that guy's definitely not a porn star.
Right. And she's like, I'm loving this.
Right. They should do that, you know? Like they should like fucking incel.
Well, Ethan, and I think you'll have a lot of support on this idea from the incel community, but those poor girls, you know, like,
But John, that's the gift that sex workers have always given to mankind, isn't it?
is they go, wow, that's one hell of a cock on you there, buddy.
Well,
you know?
yeah. I mean, not every guy can just get a girl with his suaveness or his, social skills, right?
Or his blonde
Or
highlights.
his beautiful blonde highlights like me, or his radiant look in dress and some lipstick. So you got to resort to the sex workers, and like what's wrong with that for some of these incels? That's what I never understood quite. Actually, I've never understood that about incels. Like, just go get a hooker.
Well, a lot of them, it's this thing where getting a hooker is kind of like admitting defeat, because
I don't get that at all.
It's not just sex that they want. It's really a girlfriend. Like if you
see, John, when my uncle took me to that hooker when I was 13,
Jesus Christ,
to deflower get rid of my virginity, I didn't think it was. No, just kidding. As we've discussed on the show, a girl had sex
raped
with
you.
Yes. Well, she sat down on me. I did not know she was going to do it, and
she raped you.
I was very Christian, and I thought it was morally wrong to have sex before marriage. So
no, rape is wrong.
You're right.
I
pushed. She got like 2 strokes in, and then I pushed her off and was like, "No, Jesus, please forgive me." Yeah. True story.
And Jesus is like, Protestant Jesus is like, you hold on to that nut, boy. You hold on to that.
And I drove home and furiously masturbated.
And cried.
And cried.
And denounced the Virgin Mary.
Well, we're just taught to do that every day, so that was just a coincidence. No, that is all true. And someone tweeted out about that this week. Do you copy? Was it Louis?
I screenshot Louis because he was going back because he's got like a 3-hour commute, and so he was going back and listening to some of the classics,
right?
You know, and he encountered
God bless
you talking
that man.
about, and he said like, of course Ethan would lose his virginity by getting raped.
That's all true. Yeah. Yes. But I don't think it's admitting defeat to. I don't know, if you're like 23, 24 years old and you still haven't had sex with a lady, like, just, get a hooker.
I think you're confusing inceldom with virginity, because it's not just that they want more than to masturbate. They want to come inside a girl. It's that they want a rewarding relationship with a woman. Like, that is the thing they want.
But sometimes you just got to break that seal,
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
Right
on that. Yeah.
If they just need to get out of their heads and then just go bang some hooker and then let her be their guide into non-virgin dumb. And
well, see, that's the thing I would agree with is if you bang a hooker and then after, while you could ask her hey, what can I do to be more presentable, and she would be very honest with you on those things, But it really is part of it is
I usually pay hookers not for sex but just to listen, John. That's and to hold me while I cry. Okay, I'm sorry.
I pay hookers. I pay hookers to go to confession, Ethan.
Yeah, after the filthy things you do with them, John. You both need it.
I keep telling you that reading the New Testament is not a filthy thing, Ethan. That it's okay to do.
But John, you're reading it in that filthy Latin, that Vulgate translation. We all know it's the King James. That's what you want.
But I think really the debate in the libertarian community with regards to the thought audit is this whole idea about whether or not we should use the state against our enemies, and it's kind of been part of a longer discussion that's been going on since Trump started running for president.
Right.
It's because the concession on both sides of the argument is that yes, our political enemies do use the state against us, the IRS has targeted, conservatives. They take our money. They imprison us for smoking weed. Our political enemies do use the state against us.
Wait, smoking weed?
What?
Oh, wait, are we talking about liberals right now?
We're libertarians.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so the question is is it really worth staying principled and getting owned by the libs, Or
well, I'm a left libertarian, and I say you should stay principled.
Well, I agree with you on certain things, and on other things I don't, But for this thought audit, I definitely agree. I think that it's not a good thing to do.
It's such bad faith. It's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, the IRS is bad, and giving the IRS money is bad.
Right. And this is coming from someone who thinks that it's immoral to vote, right? That's your. So if you think it's actually literally immoral to vote, then I don't think you can advocate for using the IRS against your political enemies.
Right. And also it's just even if you don't like these people from a social or cultural point of view, which there are plenty of just retarded cam horse saying the dumbest shit online over and over, but that doesn't change the fact that I like it when money is kept out of the IRS's hands. I like that a lot.
Well, yeah, that's fine with me. But I mean, you're like, oh, there's these dumb cam horse, and I'm like, what does that have to do with me? It's like
Right.
let the dumb cam whores be dumb cam whores. That's fine.
Right. Totally. I agree with that.
Yeah, like when I'm going out of my way to like look up other citizens and then like report them to the fucking G, like no way.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is this weird thing that the internet has done where it's like you really find a faction, you know, and you start thinking the way everyone in that faction thinks. And cam whores and incels have both decided that they are each other's mortal enemies, you know, and it's this weird thing. And this is the way that, you know, because you can't have like, oh, let's go have the Jets and the Sharks go meet in the streets and battle it out, you know, and like this is the way that you have that kind of, street fight, you know, to see who this town ain't big enough for the both of us kind of thing on the internet. And like this is the way that the two sides can do battle with each other.
I take your point, but I disagree that that's cam whores' biggest enemies, that they're incels. John, we all know what cam whores' biggest enemies are. Other cam whores. Clearly.
That's true.
Like, did you see that bitch Veronica? Did you see what she was wearing on her feed today?
Oh, she's gonna use a horsecock dildo after I use a horsecock dildo? That's too much.
We'll just see about that. I'll get this dragon dildo.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I bet when the dust settles from this whole thought audit thing and all the right-wing trolls stop doing it, not be surprised if cam whores started doing it to each other.
Holy shit, dude, that is totally gonna happen. Now that they know that like the IRS exists.
Right now that they've thought about it for once in their entire lives, you know. Yeah, actually,
John, what if this could spread? This could be just like women reporting men that they're mad at in general too. What if women start using the IRS for revenge? God damn, this David Wu.
That's Ethan. The thing you just said is my ultimate nightmare. Women being politically competent. That is just wow. What a hellscape this country would turn into if that happened.
John Gregory, feminist. Jesus, John. Women, I just want to let you know that I respect you, and I'm all caught up on my paperwork. So,
hey, as far as the Ancapistan group on Facebook goes, I am a fucking feminist. Okay.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, seriously. Well, that's the whole thing about this. Before we move on, it's so clear. It's like you don't even have to read between the lines. You know, it's just. Don't listen to what that's coming out of these guys' mouths and look what they're doing. Like, oh, incels are mad at cam girls and they're doing. It's like, do you think it matters more that they're ANCAPs or more that they're not getting laid? Like,
right.
The only thing that matters.
Well, one thing though about David Wu is he's not some like fat incel loser. He's he's pretty ripped. You can tell like he hits the gym like 4 times a week, you know, and like he's one of those kind of just.
Gay incels.
No. It's like honestly, one strange positive aspect that this far right online community has had is a certain percentage of its adherents have kind of stopped doing drugs and drinking and started working out and getting jobs and becoming productive members of society. But when someone like David Wu does that, he still hates women after he's done it.
Yeah, you're like, so he'll just live longer so he can be on the internet even more time and hate women even more.
Right. It's like you used to complain that like women never notice me, and now women are like, wow, nice delts, and you're like, shut up, whore.
I'm gonna put you to the IRS.
You only want to fuck me because you think I'm a Chad, you fucking stupid slut whore.
Well, I'm a virgin. I'm a virgin till I die. I'm not no Chad. That's hilarious too. That is literally true. Like incels refusing to accept that they might be attracted to women.
Yes, that is definitely a thing.
It's a state of mind.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, for some of them. I mean, there's others that, Jesus Christ, John, have you seen the way these guys look?
Yes,
but
you will be an incel to the day you die.
But a lot of them, pretty attractive.
A lot of them, all they need to do is like 2 or 3 major tweaks to their like daily routine, and in a year they would be normal and attractive, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Just buy that lobster book by Jordan Peterson and good to go.